Hey guys, first and foremost, I just want to thank you all for being here and thank my new subscribers. I don't thank you for being here nearly enough, but I do want you to know that I see you and I appreciate you. It keeps me going, it keeps my momentum up, and it holds me accountable when you show up. So thank you for that. My voice is a little weak. My energy is a little low. The energies in general are a little heavy. I'm not going to pretend they're not. They're heavy here, and they're heavy in the real world, right? I mean, that's what we're looking at, is a representation of what is going on in the energy. And it's really heavy. You know, we got Scorpio with the eclipse. We have Pluto, more scorpionic sort of energies, is retrograde. And Mercury is retrograde, right? So there's a lot going on there with, you know, the subconscious and issues of wounding and healing and memories and things like this. And you know, Mercury rules your communication, and it rules how you think, how you process, how you think, how you communicate. But you know, that has to do with memory too. So when Mercury is retrograde, that makes it even more sort of heavier. It can. It doesn't have to. I actually usually do pretty well in retrogrades because I kind of retrograde myself all the time. And when we get into the cards, I'll explain what I mean by that. So it's just kind of like in my nature, I guess, not to be stuck. And that is our first card here. The land in between, or yeah, the land between. So I don't like to be there. I don't like to be stuck. I've said this before. I'll say it again, I'm sure. I don't like to be stagnant. I don't like to be still. Even when I am still, you know, you might see me a lot just sitting around thinking, laying around, whatever. But there's always stuff going on up here. I'm always just kind of planning and plotting and waiting, you know, for my volcano moment, so to speak, or whatever. So I'm easing into this because I've been very emotional. And it's funny because I was fine until I started talking and then realized my voice is weak. Some throat chakra things, right? Mercury. But I'm particularly sensitive at this time because I have to go to a funeral tomorrow. And I put off doing this reading because I just needed like a day. I needed a day. Because my friend, and my friend's husband, he's also my friend, or was my friend. I don't know why this is so difficult. Died the other day, and it's, obviously it's never nice when someone dies, but I particularly have a problem with this death because of how good he was and how good his wife is. So I'm gonna get it together. I didn't think I was gonna act like this or react like this. I thought I was cried out, but I just have an issue with good people dying. It makes me angry, and it's funny because all this energy, this eclipse energy, not so much the retrograde energy really, that hit me early like it always does, and then it went away quickly as it always does. But this eclipse energy hit me late, and I'm noticing that some people it's hitting them early some of us, it's hitting us now. Now, I always get pumped and excited about eclipses, and I love a full moon, so I'm like the crazy, like mad scientist. I don't know, what's that from? I'm like picturing this, like, is that like Frankenstein or something? I don't know, but that's how I feel. Like it's alive, like the energy is alive, and I get really pumped for that energy. But this time it actually it's affecting me. It's making me very tired, if nothing else. But I also feel emotional. But like I said, I'm dealing with this processing. And you can fast forward through this if you don't want to listen to me blubber, whatever. But I would feel wrong. I would feel out of my own moral alignment if I did not mention my friend Gene, because Gene and his wife Kathy, who I love very much, they've both been very supportive to me and my daughter so many years now. And on top of that, they're just good people. And my heart is hurting for my friend Kathy because she lost her husband. And unlike so many couples, and I talked about this before, look around and see, there's got to be at least one example of one couple who you could aspire to be like for like a relationship, to like a model. And these two, unlike the vast majority of couples that I've seen, that I've known, actually loved each other, actually supported each other, and it breaks my heart that Kathy now has to be alone. And he was only 67. He was only 67 years old. And so I had to take a minute to mourn how unfair it is. How unfair it is that genuinely, really, actually good people get taken while so many monsters are left to roam the streets. And I lost it again. This evening I ordered pizza. We ordered pizza today. It was a busy day, actually. I had yard work, school work, it's garbage night. We ordered pizza today. And I'm a numbers person, if you haven't seen me talk about that before. And I looked at the receipt like I always do. Oh my god. Why can't I get this to show up? There's a glare no matter where I put that. See that? It says number 929. I'm hiding the rest because my address is on it. Not that I don't want all of you to come visit me. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be at this address either, but number 929 was our order number. And when I saw that, I was like, 929, like, it resonated, and I was like, I paused for a minute to ask myself why. It's because that's Gene's birthday. Because I had just processed that information on his obituary. His birthday is September 29th. So, and that's another side note for my commenter from last week, I believe it was. She was asking me about the sign of Libra. And that's sort of a running joke that she's probably not aware of. Within the astrological community, at least the ones that I participate in, oh, well, what about Libra? Because people ask all the time about Libra, right? And the running joke is like, there's these three women, and they're all asking about Libras. They're all asking about the same Libra, right? Because Libras have a reputation, which is what I told her. Libras have a reputation of being very flaky and flighty and fickle. And, you know, they can be even promiscuous. But what I will say, and I cannot remember her name in any real context, I think it was a her. I don't even know if it was a her, to be honest. I just assumed it was a woman. So whoever you are, yes, I do know some good Libras. In fact, one of the best men that I know was a Libra. And he just passed away. So, that's where I'm coming from emotionally. And believe it or not, I thought it was okay to do this. However, let's talk about the energies. So like I said, we're in Mercury retrograde. And for all of you who are fast forwarding, I'll hold up the cards. So this is what we're talking about. The land in between. The land in between, I can talk. Or it's just the land between. Whatever. Card number 40. In case that's significant to you. So what's the land in between, right? It's kind of like a limbo. It's this period of time, kind of like a Mercury retrograde, when everything sort of slows down. We feel like maybe we're going backwards, we're not going forwards. That's all that, you know, really matters to us people who prefer going forwards. You know, if you have an Aries Mercury like I do, yeah, time for that bullshit, right? We don't have time. That's why I say I retrograde myself all the time, because it's like, I don't have time to be stuck here. I don't have the patience to linger. I'm not into it. We're going forward. What's the next thing? But this is why this happens, right? Because so much of our world, and I don't support this in the world, it's just my own, you know, thinking, my own emotions, my own processing is usually pretty fast. But in general, I don't support the, you know, go, 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 you know, grind, grind until you die mentality. I don't at all. But that is so much of our world, right? And lucky for us, there are times like Mercury retrograde, which come in to slow us down, to make us stop and reflect and look back and process, sort of as a limbo, so that we can go forward better, smarter, whatever we need to be. So, what does that involve? Well, it's about self-love, and that's a little inside joke between me and someone who I had a conversation with a while back now, where she was ever so, you know, self-righteously and indignantly asking me to tell her how to fix herself, basically. And I said some things, whatever, and she's like, yeah, self-love, I know. What else? You know, well, what else is there? What else is there really? At the end of the day, you are the only person on any given day that you have, right? I mean, let's talk about my friend and her husband for a minute. Someday, on any given day, you wake up and you realize, wow, I'm the only thing I really have. I'm the only person I really have 24/7. So maybe you should honor that. Maybe you should care about that one person who's always there, who you can't escape. The person whose life you're in control of designing. Maybe you should honor that person. Maybe you should not, you know, denigrate the idea of self-love. Because when you do honor yourself, love yourself, you know, when you, how do I explain this? When you respect your own emotions, when you are comfortable with your own emotions, when you aren't afraid of your emotions, and you feel brave enough to confront them, to accept them, to express them, to process them, to be honest about them, then you attract to you other energies that will show you the same, that will show you the same type of respect and honoring of you, of how unique you are and how expressive you are. And I mean, I would argue that half of our problems in relationships stem from attracting people who don't do that, who can't do that, who don't honor us, who don't care about our feelings. And some of the time, you know, I don't mean this in a victim blaming way whatsoever, but some of the time it is our own fault because we don't actually stand up for ourselves. We don't own how we feel. We don't express how we feel. I'm sorry, something's itching me. I don't know if it's my hair or just psychosomatic. So this is the land between. This is the pause. This is, you know, the reflection. This is the time to reflect upon how we feel about things, who we are, what's important to us. And I don't have the Rider-Waite Queen of Cups, but on that card, she has her cup. This girl here has her cup. This queen, I'm sorry, she's not a girl, she's a queen. She has her cup back there. You probably can't see it, and if I move it any more forward, apparently I get a giant glare from every which angle. Her cup is back there. So it's almost a little bit hidden. But she does have her hand on it. She's got a firm grasp on it. And anyway, in the Rider-Waite, the Queen of Cups is, I mean, it's like she's almost obsessed with the cup. Actually, you know, she's got a lid on it. She's just like super protected. And she's guarding it and she's gazing into it. It's almost like a, what do you call it? It's almost like she's scrying at the cup in a way. It's really kind of like got a witchy feel to me. How, I don't know, it's like a focus of manifestation. And it's like, I don't know, it's got this magical quality to it. I guess I won't overanalyze it and go into it. But the bottom line is that the Queen of Cups, it's just our focus here in the land between. She protects her emotions, but she honors her emotions, you know? She values herself and her emotionality. And the next card out, and I'll read you these in a second, I suppose. I'm going a little haphazard. It's the nature of the energy. But I feel like this is important to talk about as one right now. The royal you. Well, the Queen of Cups, she's royal. And any queen recognizes her own royalty and understands that she deserves respect. She deserves a safe place with another person. And you know, we did get the Ace of Cups coming out with that. So, I mean, this to me does imply an opportunity, a space, a relationship, whatever it is, where you are honored for the royalty that you are, where you may feel comfortable in your own skin and safe and carefree. Something that you can have faith in, something you can believe in, something that makes you want to jump off that cliff and start over. So, you know, this is something to get excited about. This is something freeing, healing, aligned with you. Once again, somewhere where you feel comfortable and safe and free to be your whole self, your whole vulnerable, crying, whatever it is, self. And what else is involved in that? Well, the merry motive. A merry motive. Okay, that by itself, I don't know. I don't quite remember. I sort of do remember what the book says. I'll read it to you in a minute. But to me, motive. Motive sticks out. Marry, okay. But motive, right? So you can attract someone with good motives. That's part of this plan, right? So for you to be this way, for you to feel this way, for you to be comfortable in your own skin and feel free and, you know, safe, for you to feel that sense of faith that you are protected, that you can jump off this cliff and start something new, and that you will fall into somewhere where your emotions are valued, respected, treasured, protected. Well, you need to align yourself with people who have appropriate motives, enlightened people who, I mean, I don't want to say this because it sounds a little dramatic, but I wanted to say who are willing to sacrifice for you, who are willing to be in an uncomfortable position for you, and vice versa, right? My fourth house, whoa, what was that? My fourth house is Libra, and I have Pluto in my fourth house as well. So tit for tat, equality, balance, someone who's willing to give what you're giving. And righto. I mean, this is, you know, to me, often about morals and principles, values, standards. The Hierophant is Taurus energy. So, I mean, Taurus, you know, Taurus demands the best. There's no getting around it. And I feel like that's part of it. And this is always, for me, I don't want to say always, but often for me, what Mercury retrograde brings out in me, I don't know if this helps you or not, but I do think it's something important for everyone, is a sort of reflection upon, well, I mean, when I'm forced to, the past. Like I said, I do this all the time, so it doesn't really matter, but in sort of taking a look at your alliances, I talked about this before, I know I did, and the people you surround yourself with, your friendships, it doesn't have to be romantic love, it can be your friendships as well. And certainly not that long ago, I did exactly this. And question, are these the types of people that I want in my life? Are these people up to my standard of values and integrity? I know I'm repeating myself, but that was a long time ago at this point, so you might not have seen that reading. And, I mean, honestly, maybe that's not important to you, but it is important to me, and I'll tell you why it should be important to you, because of what I just said over here. Because if you are allowing, okay, and I'm just going to get a little crass for a minute, because this is the best way I know how to say this. If you are allowing trash, garbage people, low moral people, people that lie, cheat, steal, are two-faced, right? Not genuine, not of integrity. If you allow those people into your life and you accept them, you befriend them, you support them, you know, what you're saying to the universe is, yes, these are the type of people that I want around me. Please send me more. You get what I'm saying? Call me dramatic if you want. Once again, listen to me or don't. It is completely up to you. You don't ever have to listen to me. You don't ever have to take me seriously. But that is my suggestion, that you use Mercury retrograde Use your, I don't care if it's Mercury retrograde or not, but use some of your time to evaluate who you have around you, what types of people those are, and what that says about you. Because I firmly believe in the birds of a feather mentality. I believe that you are what you hang with. And, I mean, I judge people on that too. I do. I don't think that's unfair. Because if you are somebody who is in tune and align, in align, I don't know what I just said. In alignment, you should be considering these things. You should be considering these things because it should bother you. You should feel it. It should drag you down. Bothers me. I don't like, I mean, I'm real cutthroat that way. I'm real Queen of Swords that way. I'll cut somebody out. I don't care. Because I'm fine being alone. I'm completely fine being alone. I mean, and I'm talking absolutely alone. I don't care if I don't have any friends. I don't care. If they're all trash, they gotta go. Simple as that. Once again, you don't have to be like me. But that's what I have to say about that. So what do we have? Let's go through the numbers really quick. 40, 16, 20, 0. We have 17. Is that what the star is? I'm bad with Roman numerals. Yeah, 17. And what else? Hierophant is 5. Hanged Man is 12. And we have the Chariot, which is number 7. Okay, we haven't gotten to this yet. So next we have the Storyteller. And I don't remember exactly what this says either. I'll read these. I'll close it out and I'll read these to you. We'll do it backwards today. The Storyteller. Very resonant with Mercury retrograde for me. Because to me, and I believe there's something about this in the book. I'm not sure. We'll find out. This is about writing your own story. This is about retelling it, right? So we put all these together. We're stuck in the land in between where, I mean, the task is self-love. The task is alignment. The task is to decide who we are, how we feel about everything. I don't care, whatever it is. What we are deserving of, which is, you know, true, authentic love, true, authentic connections. We're deserving of being treated like royalty, whatever that means to us. I don't mean that in some high maintenance, you know, materialistic bitch way. I mean that you are deserving, no matter who you are. Okay, if you're trash, then not you. But we're deserving of being cherished and protected and cared about the way that we are comfortable with, the way that we want to be. And this, I mean, this reminds me of something that I always say too, and maybe this is something that you need to think about. I really, really like it, or don't, depending on which way it goes. The things that I value about myself, you know, there are certain things that I value about myself that I think are my best qualities. So when I'm with somebody in any context, it doesn't matter, and they notice that about me, I like that. When somebody that I'm with maybe puts that down about me or tries to criticize that trait about me, I don't like it. And the person who does see value in it, who does recognize it and point it out and see value in it, is much more likely to stay in my life than somebody who criticizes that quality about me. Because if you don't find the traits, you know, the little quirky things, the special things, doesn't even have to be quirky, but special things about someone, if you don't find those traits endearing, if you have a problem with them, they bother you, you should leave that person alone. And and vice versa. You should leave that person alone if they don't appreciate, you know, what's special about you and the things that you value about yourself. So, my child is choking. And now it's silent. 1 second. Hey, are you okay? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So the storyteller. So, I wasn't done though. Because this is, I feel, this is what I feel intuitively, okay? I feel like we're talking about taking a break, reevaluating the past, looking over the motives of other people, looking how you were treated, whether or not it was to the degree that you deserve to be valued and respected. And part of that's here in the clarifiers. So we're evaluating the past because it's Mercury retrograde, right? And we're realigning from a position of self-love, of respect, of claiming our own power, of demanding that outside energies value and respect and care about us to the degree that we know we deserve. That's the task at hand, from what I'm seeing, okay? And anyone who didn't do that, well, fuck them. We can rewrite the story however we want. I knew I was going to drop it, and then I, didn't, and then I did. Isn't that weird? We can rewrite that story. And maybe I should read the cards before I comment on that, just because I don't know how to explain what I mean by that. But this does remind me a little bit of last reading, the reading before. I don't remember. They're all just kind of mushing together in some ways. But to me, this speaks to kind of looking at ways that we were wronged, right? Because once again, I'll just say the word even though I didn't want to say it, but like that victimhood mentality, right? Because we do have the Chariot here. To me, the Chariot can speak to not victimhood whatsoever, but overcoming, of winning the battle. It's a card of victory. And sometimes, though, we get stuck. Like my friend who was bitching about me talking about self-love. And I mean, I think the problem is that she just didn't really understand what self-love is to its full extent, but I digress. But I mean, she's a good example. She was somebody who I felt was very much stuck in a victimhood mentality. And it's like, she didn't even realize it. And, I mean, I don't know, you know, the problem is that we all have to kind of figure out how to get ourselves out of that. I can't instruct you. It's kind of it's part of your journey. It's part of the work that you need to do yourself. And in doing so, you're allowed to rewrite your own story. You're allowed to label yourself and conceptualize what happened to you however you want. And I guess I'll just leave that simplistically the way it is. But for example, like when somebody, once again, when somebody does you wrong, when somebody betrays you, I'll say it again, it's about them, it's not about you, it's their choice. They chose to be a bad person. They chose to be, you know, someone of lower moral character. And no matter how much they want to make it about you, it's not about you, it's about them. Because normal people of integrity don't make choices that involve hurting other people, destroying other people, whatever the case may be. It's not normal behavior. So when you're dealing with a character like that, or even less severe, just somebody who refuses to give you closure, refuses to have a conversation with you, right? Refuses to express themselves, refuses to honor your feelings. Rewrite this story however you want. Because to me, if you need someone to tell you, to give you permission, I'm giving it to you right now. You have permission to characterize that person however you want, because they failed to characterize themselves. You know, they failed to contribute to the narrative. They failed to be a person deserving of your consideration and your, I don't know, your consideration. Let's leave it at that before I go off the rails. But yeah, you can rewrite it. You can twist it. I mean, you know, I'm not condoning like lying or gaslighting yourself or brainwashing yourself, but you know what? Whatever makes sense to you, I guess is what I'm saying. Whatever it makes intuitive sense to you, put together the pattern while you're looking back on whatever the situation is. What's the pattern? What repetitive issues came up with that person? What did that person do repeatedly? Or what do you know about them from other relationships, other situations that you can say is a pattern that they have? And what does that say about them? Whatever that says about them, it's more than fair for you to write that into your story. And on top of that, write yourself however you want. Tell whatever story makes sense to you. Whatever one empowers you. Because clarifying the storyteller is the Queen of Swords. And she's a storyteller. I mean, she's a straight shooter. Queen of Swords tells it like it is. She doesn't take any shit. She doesn't give any shit. Well, depending on how you define shit, I guess. But Queen of Swords is truth and clarity. She sees things how they are. And she would write her story with her as the warrior, as the victor, right? Queen of Swords wouldn't write herself as any weak-ass character or some victim of somebody else. She would write herself as the warrior who fought the battle, cut through the bullshit, and moved on from it. I don't know. That's what I'm feeling here. But I will say, oh, and I wanted to look this up. Damn it. Oh well, it doesn't matter. So at the bottom of these decks, we have the Ten of Cups, right? And in this one, we have the Eight of Wands. So those always kind of give me a sneak peek in one way or another into what we're talking about. And I do think, to me, Eight of Wands and the Chariot are sort of similar energies. Ten of Cups, I mean, obviously we're dealing with heavy emotions here. We're dealing with fulfillment. We're dealing with honoring our emotions, going toward what makes us happy, gaining clarity about that. Eight of Wands is quick success. It's communication. It's charging forward. You know, and that's what we're going to do after we get done in the land between. All right, so let me read these. This is not how I planned on doing the reading, but I just, you know, I wanted to get it done because I said I would, and I believe in keeping my word. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to tap out. I wanted to just give myself a break, but you know, I believe in keeping my promises. I believe in keeping my word. I think if you are someone who doesn't keep your word and doesn't keep your promises, well, what are you really worth? So, The land between. Being between worlds, learning to be okay while the threshold of what was and what will be at the threshold. Did I say with? While at the threshold of what was and what will be. A time of waiting and evolving. Gray areas, something essential yet still in development. Metamorphosis. Scorpio energy, right? Right. It's that transformation. Okay, I won't comment anymore. So it says, you're in the process of change. You know that you were called to it and can no longer be who you were, but you aren't sure what the next experience of your life will be. You are in between what was and what could be, in a pupal stage, like during the metamorphosis of the caterpillar into the butterfly, which is the metaphor I always use for the death card, which is the Scorpio card. However, you can't just skip the messy parts. Yeah, see? You can't just skip the messy parts. You have to endure the unknown and the uncomfortable as you reinvent yourself. The thing is, you're not quite there yet. You have one foot in the past. Even if you're ready to shed that version of yourself and become something new, you must start redefining who you are in the context of your question. What do you believe is possible when you get to the next place? Can you explore that stage of your evolution to get to know yourself better? What did I say? Getting to know yourself. Queen of Cups, Ace of Cups. The process in between worlds is where things get really interesting. You learn how to manage your fear, how to stay present in the now, how to see in the dark. You absorb the lessons offered to you with grace because you can't go any faster. Yeah, it's kind of annoying. This is the real test of emotional fortitude, patience, trust, and humility. Once you have made this no man's land your home, it will be part of you. Then whatever was set in motion comes to life. This is what you've been waiting for. When you look back, you will grow to love the place in between, for that is where you were reborn. For sure. For sure. And I could speak to that on so many levels, but yeah, sometimes we're stuck. Sometimes we're stuck in this land between. And, we can't get out of it, but by being there, by us being forced to be there and process how we got there and figure out how we're going to get out of there, that's where, I guess I'll just speak for myself, but hopefully this is your experience as well. That's where we learn to love ourselves. That's where we find our strength. That's where we find our genius. That's where we put all the pieces together and we realize what it all means. And that's where we realize how powerful we are. So, yeah, how can you not love the experiences that brought you to that point so you could go through that, so that you could get to the other side and come out with that self-love, with that confidence, with that new command over who you are and what you deserve, with those standards and raised, for lack of a better word, elevated, that's what I was trying to find, in your environment, because that's only going to propel you even further forward. You see what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. (16) The Royal You. So this says sovereignty, responsibility, self-confidence, self-rule, ownership of your feelings and actions, a quiet sense of empowerment, being self-aware, not allowing outside influences out of alignment with your truth. Exactly. Do you know what it means to express personal sovereignty in your life? It's about how you hold to your inner sense of worth and integrity, secure in your belief that you have a unique purpose. It's about feeling comfortable in your own skin, which the Star card sometimes is for me. Knowing who you are and that nothing outside you can challenge your authentic self. The hard-won seat of awareness that you have earned. You are the ruler of your mind, and you're being invited now to consider what discipline you need to apply to your thoughts. Discipline to your thoughts. Are they consistent with the values and beauty you intend for your life? It is important now to keep your focus on what is right and good for you, as well as others. Challenges in your life at this time, no matter how large or small, must be met with a measured response. Measured response, I can kind of see that. She's very tempered. This is not the temperance card, but anyway. If life sends you a challenge, can you speak up and set your boundaries with grace and surety? Queen of Swords can. Calm, intelligent leadership is called for now. Sovereigns know when to plan their battles, so stay out of unnecessary skirmishes and strategically wield your personal power. Now is the time to lead from the heart, from your authenticity and integrity. Hold your head high and know your worth. That is the mark of a true sovereign. Number 20, the merry motive. Okay, knowing your own motives, understanding what drives you to meet your goals, the momentum your attention creates. I mean, it's like repetitive. And I just said this before too about, where are you putting your focus? Are you focusing on what you want to expand, what you want to create, where you want to be? Are you putting your focus on things that, that's the word I'm looking for, that you want to grow? Or is your focus on things that are in fact dead? I don't know. What is it, the quote? About focusing your effort on building the new. I wish I remembered it now. It's Buckminster Fuller. Yeah, focus not on changing the existing structure, reality, whatever. Focus on building a new one. Okay, whatever. We'll move on from that. Okay, you've chosen a path. You've set an intention and you've begun to move toward a goal. You feel compelled to keep going, but do you know the why behind this drive? Do you truly want what you're pursuing, or are you chasing a destination with the anticipation of how it will make others feel about you or feel about yourself? So here we go with that superficiality again, right? You must choose to be in the flow of the experience, relishing the moment. Surrender your expectations to a higher power rather than being guided by your limited self. God, I'm laughing because the cards that came out with that were the Hanged Man, which is a card of surrender, sacrificing, and the higher power. Well, we got the Hierophant, so that's funny. Okay. The most important aspect to consider now is where you place your focus, because that's where energy will flow. If you are resentful, the outer world will show you more opportunities to be resentful. If you are envious of others, competitive, and overly ambitious, you will always feel as if you are not enough. If you focus on gratitude and compassion for others, you will see even more reasons to be grateful and loving. When you look for abundance, it has an uncanny way of multiplying in your life. Didn't I just say this? If you didn't watch my past reading, I think that was the last one, you won't know, but I just said this. I believe that I'm protected, that I'm guided, that the universe, that my ancestors, that my guides have my back, and I believe that everything's going to work out for me, and guess what? It does. It does. So, there you go. Look for abundance, and it has a way of uncannily multiplying in your life. Facts. So, if you're unsure about your motives, the result will be just as unclear. But it's not unclear because we have the Queen of Swords here. So, get clear. Dig deep to understand your why. If your true desire is to experience X, let go of your attachment to the form that X is supposed to come in. Make sure your motive is merry and joyful, clear and honest, and aim true. Trust that the universe will provide the outcome that is a perfect match for your intention. It always does. Okay, so this is more, the card itself is more about your own motives and your own focus and your own whatever internal values and morals, whatever. But like I said, I feel like that's just as aligned with your outside energies because, like I said, you are what you hang with, right? Whatever you're taking in, whether it just be social media, the news, any kind of media, any kind of influence that you're letting. Well, didn't it say that? Maybe that was the other card. Whatever. All those things are influencing you, right? And they influence your mindset, and they influence your energy, and they can shape it and change it, and then you emit a different frequency because you're, letting all these different things impact your energy. I think it's just important to police your circle, police what you're letting into your circle, into your energy, because I don't know, I feel that by associating myself with other people, by giving my energy to other people, I am therefore endorsing those other people. I am lending, maybe this is going to sound a little like, what's the word? Arrogant, I guess. But anyone can feel this way. I feel that I'm lending my positive energy, my blessings, and my power and my protection to those people. So am I just going to hand that out to, once again, trash people, garbage people? No. I'm going to rip that back. Just saying. Queen of Swords. All right. 17, the storyteller. Identity, positive self-definition, teaching others how to treat you through the stories you tell about who you are. Do you know the story you tell others about who you are? You are a unique being with unique talents and a story unique to you and your experience. In fact, your destiny can be found in the way you weave together these threads of yourself in the world. If there's anything in your life you want to change, then it's time to adjust the story you tell about yourself. Perhaps you are too self-deprecating or apologetic about how you shine, minimizing your power so others will accept you. Perhaps the way you voice your expectations diminishes your ability to succeed, or you are too willing to tolerate a less than supportive environment. It's easy to be in denial when it comes to others and their behavior toward you. Understand, however, that you teach people how to treat you through how you talk about yourself. Once you recognize what story you're telling others about how to treat you, you can tell a different one. What if you could connect to your true power as a co-creator of your reality? The story originates in your mind. Mercury. how you think, your conditioning and past experiences, how you view the world, and what you expect to see in it. The truth is, you have everything you need to tell a new tale and weave more blessings into the world as your unique contribution. In fact, practice speaking of your amazing success, your overflowing abundance, and all the love that surrounds you. Soon, the outer world will tell the same story back to you. All right. I don't have that much more to say about this because we're heading toward an hour. But yeah, I mean, just something that I was thinking about not that long ago. And this is based on a similar thread here. Because I had this connection, really special connection, you know, one of those connections, I feel, I guess I'm just speaking for myself, but I feel like it was mutual, where me and this other person, I think, just felt so comfortable with each other, right, that we, what's the word I'm looking for, that we divulged a lot of, you know, our stories and our, you know, our personal stories, some that we probably don't tell many other people, things like this. And, you know, there was like a reciprocal vulnerability between us. And looking back, part of the Mercury retrograde of days past, looking back, it was like I kind of realized that in telling some of those stories to that person, like, I think it changed their perception of me. I think that they kind of viewed me as someone, which is just weird because I felt like I should have already proved before that I wasn't a fragile kind of person. Not that I mind being treated as a fragile person, but not in like a condescending, you know, degrading sort of way. So I feel like somewhere in there, my own stories, which I don't feel I tell from a place of victimhood whatsoever. In fact, I feel like I'm a little nonchalant about it for the most part, because once again, I don't feel like it's anything about me. Like, I don't feel any time that, you know, I've been a victim of anything that it was really about me at all. It's just a sad state of affairs of other people. So anyway, in reflecting upon that particular relationship, I made a decision. This is a while ago, and I said, you know, I'm not gonna do that little song and dance anymore. Like, when I'm getting to know someone, I'm not gonna talk about any of these stories anymore, because these stories, in reality, you know, those isolated little experiences that may have triggered me to do X, Y, Z, to grow in, you know, this way, that way, whatever. Like, yeah, sure, it's all part of the tapestry of how I got here. But they don't have to be told. Like, there's no, like, real reason to tell them anymore, because I'm not impacted by them anymore, right? And I'm not saying that that's true for you, because, you know, we all have our things that we're still impacted by. Certainly there are some things that I have considered talking about and decided I'm not ready to talk about. I have those things as well. But some of that old stuff, it's like, it doesn't even need to be told anymore. It's irrelevant. So that's just something that reminded me of. And then that's part of rewriting your story. That's part of, you know, being the storyteller of your life. What do you really need to share about yourself with any given person? It's completely in your control. You write the story. And you can write the story of who these other people were too when you tell that story, right? You don't need to mince words or try to protect them. I know I've done that before with certain people. It's like, you need to protect that person. And just be honest about who they really are, right? All right. So that's what I got here, guys. You know, it's sort of a land between period. You know, we're edging toward the other side of this. We're all in different places, I'm sure, in this metamorphosis being brought about by the eclipse season and Mercury retrograde. We're all going to come out of this in different spaces. But ideally, to the collective that I'm talking to, you know, we're going to come out to a place where we feel like the royalty that we are, comfortable in our own skin, knowing our value. Because at the end of the day, we're all just trying to get here, right? We're trying to get to that fulfillment. We're trying to get to our happily ever after, whatever that is. And, you know, part of the key to that is to reevaluate yourself and those around you, what you let into your energy. Cutting out what doesn't deserve your time, your attention, your energy, your blessings. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm really, really ruthless about getting what I deserve and what I want. And I don't, you know, I don't apologize for knocking anything over that's in my way. Maybe that's my Aries Mercury or my Leo moon or whatever. But yeah, don't let anything stand in your way. Remember who you are, and if you don't know, figure it out. That's what I always say. Figure out who you are. That's step number 1. All right, I'll see you next time, guys.